Blessings. Welcome to today's Law Enforcement Daily Devotional. Today our read is in Genesis 31 and 32. And without a doubt, I had a takeaway from this that uh, if you read ahead, you probably get the same one I did. But if you didn't, let me know. We'll talk about it. Jacob wrestles with God. This story has intrigued me from when I was a kid. And just the thought of wondering what would that be like. Um, I've got so many questions about it that maybe when I get to heaven they'll be answered. But if they're not, it's okay. What my takeaway from this is, and I've dealt with this, and probably you have too. Um, I grew up in a Christian home, and my mom and dad were Christians. My grandmother was the the patriarch of the family. I mean, she was very, very strong in her faith. But growing up, heard the stories in the gospel from my grandmother, heard the stories in the gospels from my parents. But it wasn't until I personally experienced God that I came to know Him and have a relationship with Him. It was hard for me to have a relationship based on the relationship that my mom and dad had, that the relationship that my grandmother had. I had to experience it for myself. And part of the greatness of this story for me is as you read Jacob's story throughout Genesis, it strikes me how many times he says, the God of my father, or the God of Abraham, the God of, but he's always attributing God to somebody else. He's somebody else's God. He never says, my God, or the God of Jacob. It just is not part of who he is. Even this whole time he's with Laban, and he's got Rachel and Leah, and they leave and Laban chases him down, and they make this covenant. He still says the God of Abraham. Uh, it just never becomes personal with him until this struggle with God. Have you had a struggle with God? I know I have. Um, if you haven't, and you haven't had experience, and you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus, contact me or the home office or somebody local. But definitely make sure that your relationship with God is personal to you. Don't just rely on the fact that you hear a lot of people say, well, we're Americans. Americans are Christians. This is a Christian nation. You can't rely on that. You've got to have your own personal experience. And again, the takeaway for this read today is like a neon sign. What is your relationship with God, and is it personal to you? So tomorrow we're reading Genesis 35 through or 33 through 35. So I look forward to seeing you and talking about our law enforcement takeaways tomorrow. Be safe.